Hello and thanks for joining me today. I'm Edison, and in this short presentation, we're going to explore a real world example of upgrading a data center, something that's often invisible but absolutely critical to how business operates. We're focusing on a company called Advanced MDE, but first, let's talk about why upgrading that data center is such a demanding and important task. First of all, we analyze five study cases about successfully migration process in data centers. Most of these examples are about physical data centers moving to cloud data centers. Upgrading data centers is just about swapping out the old server. It's a full transformation. It requires planning, precision, and a lot of hard work from IT teams, engineers, and decision makers. To give you a sense of the complexity, the Uptime Institute defines data center using tier levels from tier 1, which is basic and has no redundancy, all the way to tier 4, which offers full fault tolerance and 99.995% to uptime. Moving up the tiers means more reliability, but also more costs, more infrastructure, and more training. So when a company decides to upgrade or migrate their data center, they're not just chasing performance, they're investing in resilience, scalability, and long-term efficiency. In our cases, we tried three study cases. First of all, Advanced MD, a private physical data center, upgrading his infrastructure. Case 2 is 14500 that is a company that fusioned with CDW. And finally, we have Tape Arc, that is a company with a special need to store legacy data backups. So when we realize this comparative analysis, we consider some of important factors. Yeah. To understand how different companies approach this challenge, we'll look at three enterprise migration projects that shows here. Let me explain something about each company. Advanced MD, it's a healthcare software provider that moved from a private data center to Amazon Web Service. In case of Fortune 500 manufacturer that had to migrate system after acquiring another company using CDW's managed services, and Tapearc, a data preservation company that migrated legacy tape searches from AWS Glacier. Each of these projects has different goals. Advanced MD wants scalability in your own physical data center. Fortune 500 firm needs compliance and integration with other systems. And finally, Tapearc was focused in long-term data access. Finally, we choose Advanced MD. Why? After comparing all three, we choose to focus on Advanced MD because their project is a textbook example of a data center upgrade, not just a migration or a compliance fix. They are moved to a traditional private setup to a modern cloud architecture using AWS. That's a huge leap in terms of performance, flexibility, and cost efficiency. It's also highly relevant for any organization thinking about how to modernize their infrastructure without disrupting services. This is the clue, this is the challenge. Why Advanced MD? Just to give you some context, Advanced MD provides cloud-based software for medical offices. They serve thousands of clinical professionals across the US, offering tools for practice management, electronic health records, and patient engagement. Their decision to upgrade their data center wasn't just technical, it was strategic. But why? They need to support rapid growth, reduce latency, and meet strict healthcare compliance standards like HIPAA. And as well, see in the next slides, they put it up with a smart mix of AWS technologies and a phased migration strategy.
Following with the next, we have the migration project summary. That has three important things. The first one is the type, that involves the full migration from the private data center to AWS. The next one we can see the goal. The goal is improve the scalability to reduce the latency and enhance the reliability. And the last one is the timeline. This project was initiated in 2021 and was completed in 2022. Continue with the next. Why this company migrate to the cloud platforms? In this case, was for the rapid growth in the client base, for the need for faster deployment and updates, rising costs of maintaining physical infrastructure, and the last one, the compliance with the IPA and healthcare with data standards. Following with the next, as we can see, the cloud architecture. This part was split in four important parts. The first one was the compute, where the AWS through the EC2 instances doing for scalable virtual servers. The next one was the databases that was released by RDAs for managed relational databases. The next one we can see the storage, where AWS S3 service was used for secure object storage. And we can see the last one, that is the monitoring, where AWS CloudWatch services for the performance tracking. Following with the next, we can see the execution plan that was implemented by four important items. The first one was the phased migration to minimize the downtime. That means that the moving systems data or application in stages or phases instead of doing it all at once in order to reduce or avoid the service interruption. The next one is the containerization of legacy application. This one was released in four important things: the portability, scalability, fault tolerance, and agility. And the next one is the data replication and validation before the code cover. Related with the storage, that means that the copying and checking data for accuracy before the switching, cutting over to the new system. And we have the last one, that is the staff training and DevOps integration. This one is to make the software development and deployment faster, more reliable, and more automated. Following with the next, we can see the financial overview. The migration in that project cost around in a range of $3 to $5 million, involved the infrastructure, the labor, and training. And the ongoing cost, we have the AWS usage fees, that is all the platform required for our service on demand, and the monitoring and optimization in the daily basis, and the staff upskilling and DevOps maintenance. That what was all the things that was involved in the financial overview.
Risk management for the implementation of This data center, they were facing these risks: data center loss or corruption, service interruption during the cutover, and compliance breaches. The mitigation to avoid this kind of risks, they were using backups and rollback plans, real-time monitoring to avoid interruptions, and legal and compliance audits to comply with the normative. In this case, this is a healthcare provider, so they need to comply with this HIPAA normative from the United States. So that's why they were using regular audits, and the use of these technologies, as my classmate mentioned, they are gonna help for this service that they need. In the other hand, we have the 4500 manufacturer and tape arc. The key technologies that they were implemented for the implementation of their data center were AWS Outpost and AWS Data Sync and S3 Glacier. And the risk that they were facing that is totally different because of the service that each of these are providing. For example, Fortune 500, they are like a supply chain provider. They are using SCADA, automated industrial control systems software. So they have high dependency on physical assets, and they have risk of the local hardware failure. And so in this case, the latency is regarding to the operational service that they are providing. And on the other hand, we have Tape Arc. This this is a company related for provide the service on storage on the cloud. So they have risk on focus on long-term archival scalability, and they have reduces corruption risk but limited transactional agility because of the use of this technology. So that's why Advanced MD, they didn't use this one because they have to provide another kind of service, another kind of technology should be used for the implementation of their data center. Um, the outcomes of of this migration to this data center from this company Advanced MD is that now they have 99 percentage of the uptime and improved reliability, so they could have this information as they were looking for because it's in the specific place that they need. Faster deployment cycles and future releases because of the use of the cloud. Also, because of the use of the cloud, they have enhanced scalability for future growth and reduce operational overhead for the IT team. So in this case, they are gonna have less problems with real time support that they will have to use. Broader benefits: they improve service delivery for healthcare providers. They have better patient data accessibility and security because of the use of these technologies, and also to reduce carbon footprint from physical infrastructure because they move from physical services to digital infrastructure. So as a final takeaway, advancing this migration exemplifies a successful data center upgrade because they were using the specific technologies that they were needed for this healthcare service. Also, the strategic use of AWS technologies enable scalability and resilience. And this is a proof that this model for healthcare and SaaS enterprises are looking or they are seeking modernization because they are moving everything from on-premises services to digital services. These are our references, CDW and OneByte, as you can check in case you need to check this kind of information.